guys. Well, it's not quite a week since the last one. Feels much shorter than that. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. We've got a fantastic interview tonight. Going to probably have to give a little bit of a trigger warning because there is nudity. And I have been told before that I've been told off for not letting people know that there is nudity. But this is art, and I have quite a bit of that in my own work. So it's it's one of those things that we will discuss with the artist when we get there. So just going to give you a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of talk about how we're getting on with Flux, because it's coming up now. So you can see exhibition is 25th, 28th of July, 206 Marylebone Road. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. You can see just how busy in the photographs there it gets, and also actually what it's like when we've just set it all up and it's empty. And also to give you an idea, this is the venue in 206 Marylebone Road. I think it's called the Bomb Factory, so not that a bomb's gone off, or interesting to work out what the history of that is and why it's called that. I'm guessing it's something to do with the war, but it might not be. Who knows? But we will find out. And of course, you can see there's the date, there's the place, and Caterina Diaz's work, as you can see there, which was my first interview for the exhibition, and you can also get a little bit of an idea. And next week we've got Maria Mora. Should have been here this week, but she's on holiday. I needed to do this on Wednesday instead of tomorrow, and so it coincided with our flights messing around. So what we've done is we've managed, fortunately, to have Maria Vasquez to swap places. So basically, she would have been next week, but we swapped around. And you are absolutely in for a treat, no question. So let's have a little intro. Let's find out what Maria does with a camera. Now, to explain a little bit, she is a self-portrait artist, somebody that I've not interviewed before, somebody that I've not come across before. Her work is quite provocative, as you will see, and we'll get to the background as to why she's got to this point in her life. So a little bit of an intro with the video. So I've got a lot of questions, and I'm sure a few people out there will have a lot of questions. You can actually do that in the chat. You can just literally in the chat on YouTube, you can post some questions, and there'll be a few, I'm sure, that pop up a little bit later on. But let's get Maria in and say hello, Maria.
Hello, everybody.
all the way from Peru.
How are you, Gary?
Yes, I'm very good. So it's what 11 o'clock in the morning, is it, in Peru?
No, it's actually 1 p.m.
Oh, 1 p.m. Yes,
1:05.
1 p.m. Sorry, I'm thinking back to our tech chat the other day. That was 11 o'clock. Yeah, 1 p.m. Okay, so 6-hour difference. Now, everybody's just seen a little video that I've put together of your work. And what kind of want to understand is why self-portraits? Why not, why not anything else? Why specifically self-portraits?
Well, this is going to be a bit funny. I did go back to study photography when I had my second child. And during the studies, I had projects to do portraits. However, it was a bit challenging for me to get models. And obviously, my babies were very young, and I used them initially, but then I had to, for a homework, get a model. But I struggled, like I said, with that because I was a full-time mom, pretty much, and it was really difficult. And in the end, I ended up doing projects of self-portraits, and
Mhm.
that's how it became. Yeah, I learned a bit about all that, and I play with the camera and the light, and that's how it all started, but evolved from there basically. Yes, I ended up using myself as a model quite a lot for the studies, and I suppose the more I did it, the more I ended up connecting with myself and enjoying doing that, and discovering and playing with light. It became a bit more my thing than photographing other people. I have photographed other, I mean, children, but only friends, family, sorry, the kids of my friends
Yeah.
and my babies. But more, I suppose, after learning about some female artists like Frida Kahlo, Cindy Sherman, I ended up being more inspired about expressing myself as a woman and using techniques that I discovered myself through playing with the camera and playing
Okay.
pretty much on my own. Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's interesting in itself because you do actually say that Frida Kahlo and Cindy Sherman are your influences, but also Helmut Newton. So
Yes.
is that because of his sort of unorthodox approach to photography, or is that because you
Uh,
um, in
Yeah, to,
particular?
to be honest with you, it's funny because that book, I had a book of Helmut Newton as a birthday present while I was married, and I really didn't know much at the time about self-portraiture. But I
Mm,
suppose I loved at the time when I look at the book. I found it quite interesting and fascinating. But later in life, I mean, that book was buried for a long time without me even looking at it. But
yeah.
later in life, I mean, like I shared with some of the people from Flux, is just life itself, being a woman, and is, I think for me is enough tools to express yourself.
Mm,
And obviously, as a woman, I suppose I am a bit less. What's the word? I don't worry too much about what people think, or it's really when I shoot myself, I feel free basically, and I don't. Yes, I don't even think of provoking anything. But the very first time I share my nude, it caused a lot of, I suppose, reaction. I
yeah.
didn't expect it. I just shared something that I did, and but I just basically feel free when I use the camera. That's simple as that. I don't feel ashamed or afraid. I just express what I feel, what I do, or what I am. I
Yeah.
suppose it's my female side, you know. Mm.
So it's interesting talking to you the other day because you said that the camera is just a tool. It's not really important to you, which make it is or anything like that. You're not interested in that. You're interested in what you can actually do with it. And I find that quite fascinating because my response back to you was the lens is the most important part for me. But yeah, it's what you do with the camera. So that leads me on to a question, which is how many photographs do you take before you say that's the one?
Well, at the beginning, like many years ago, I used to take hundreds just
Yeah.
to get, oh, that's the one. But nowadays I take less because now obviously with the years of practice, You kind of know how to use the light. I don't even use all this gear of photographers. I mean, I have, believe it or not, I have the most basic equipment, but I just play with available light and lamps, and I like to create mystery and a bit of, I suppose, darkness also. And as you can see, some of my new stuff, you won't see everything, and I like to to depict also shapes and curves. Obviously, the female body has curves, and I think with the proper lights, you can enhance those curves and those female, features.
So I've
Yeah,
had, and I've had
so
it
yeah.
said to me. I've had the question asked to me is, why no men? And my answer has always been, it's the curves, it's the shape. I look at shape. It's much more about the shape that whoever the person is that I'm photographing. It's much more about the shape they are making, and you just can't get the same thing with men. They're just not as aesthetically pleasing, I think. And so this is a very good chance to jump on and just have a look at. We've got some images lined up that we want to talk about, and there's a few questions I've got obviously about them, but also I'd just like you to talk about through these. So we've got a couple here to start with, and so you're talking about shape, which is obvious in both of these pictures, but reading your biography, you were a croupier for 12 years, and part of being a croupier means that you tease to get people to place their bets and spend some money, and also throw some tips at you. But a lot of your series of photographs are around that tease, around that. This is what I want to do. There's an element of tease. There's not anything like, if you look at the picture on the left-hand side here, the first one, for instance, then, that is a big teasing type picture, as is the one on the right. There is a big difference, though, for me. The difference is one's color, one's black and white, but also you've chosen a particular light for the color one. So why would that be?
When it comes to color, I actually shoot everything in color, and then later I decide which format is best for that image. Like the yellow one is called daffodil, and the reason I chose that is because of the Welsh. I mean the flower, the daffodil. I believe has
Daffodil,
a
yeah.
lot of similarities with women. Like the daffodil can be going through the roughest weather conditions and still go beautifully, get the yellows back in place again. And I think as a woman, I mean, all of us women, I think we share pretty much similar qualities to daffodils. That's what I call. And the tones in the real life, I mean, I suppose on the screen you won't appreciate much the yellow. And but yeah, like I said, when it comes to color deciding, I decide that later, and depending also on the attire of what I'm wearing. In that case, obviously the outfit I'm wearing on the yellow is yellow, so I enhance that.
Yeah.
But on the other one, yes, I was wearing a black whatever you call bodysuit, and it works best. Plus the fishnets, they also it had to be black and white to have that effect. And yeah, so the other one is called Untouch, and I shot the second one during the pandemic, actually, if I'm not wrong, because I have so many artworks with dates and names. But if I'm not wrong, I shot that 2020 during the pandemic. So so that's what it's called, Untouch. And many women, I suppose, felt a bit that way. I won't go into the specifics, but I think the title says it all. But yeah, it's still a very sensual, erotic image, and like I said, I love the contrast of the black and the grays, and if you would see this artwork, like I said, live, you can see the fishnets in more detail.
So it's interesting to me that you don't call yourself an artist. You're which which you are, because you're telling a story with each picture that you create. But and that's because you're always been pushed in the direction of photography. I think it says again, you did photography at the Art Institute at Fort Lauderdale in South Florida, but and that's sort of set you down the photographic direction after that. And also it became, after the loss of your father, it became quite therapeutic for you to do this work.
That's correct, Gary. Yeah, I mean, I think that year 2013, I'm gonna confess, I got myself a lot into drinking. I was seeing somebody at the time also, and I did, because I don't blame anybody, it was drinking with the sorrow. But after that, I realized that's not really me. So I spent more time with the camera after that, and alone basically. And but I ended up creating artworks that I did like myself, and that's how I started sharing the stuff on social media, which caught, again, like I said, caused a reaction, and that's pretty much how I discovered something that I had myself in the artistic world, I suppose. It just came naturally. It's not something I planned. I didn't go to art school, or I didn't plan anything that I done so far. It was just evolving naturally as I express myself.
So, well, looking at these two pictures, which is, if you're doing this on setting your camera up, setting the timer, running and getting to those positions, that's pretty impressive if that's what you're doing that quick.
So you didn't have a lot of sweating back and forth.
Yeah, no, but it did. And to be honest, not just the fact that you can do both of those maneuvers, but also keep still enough for the camera to do its job, which is, again, obviously it's all to do with the lighting and everything else.
As you can see, my cat is on the left.
Well, I was about to say that. Was that deliberate, or was that an accident?
Yeah, that was an accident. I mean, it was the first cat I had. He was beautiful because he wouldn't really. I mean, I did different shots for that, but my cat happened to be standing, so I had to keep him part of the frame, because I think that.
Well, it does actually. Yeah, it does. It actually gives it a different dimension, which is very cool, actually. But again, this is what I can. Well, I'm looking at this obviously as a photographer, but I'm looking at it also as an artist, and you are creating the shape, and that's what I see a lot in your work, is that you're creating a particular shape that you want the viewer to see, but also it's, in some respects, it's got a little bit of abstractness to it, because you've got that shape that you're looking for, but particularly in the right hand one, where you've sort of mirrored it. Do you, when you shoot with, I'm presuming, I'm making an assumption here, and also reading your biography tells me, so you're using a digital camera, but are you then putting it into Lightroom, Photoshop? How do you come up with which one of those do you use, or do you use both?
Initially, I would use only Photoshop, the Photoshop was mainly just to crop and resize.
Yeah.
But then later I started using Lightroom, because, as you can see, these colors are artificial colors. Basically, I created them in Lightroom, which I love with Lightroom, because you can introduce colors that were not in the picture at all. I use both now, Lightroom and Photoshop. But Photoshop is mainly just to crop, resize, and to save.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so these are both, I think these are both have Bruges in the title. So now, can you talk me through why are these both because you took them when you were in Bruges, or?
Yes.
And so there's a little story behind these, I'm sure. If you'd like to let everybody know what that is, that'll be pretty cool.
Yes, well, I have actually good friends in Belgium, and they actually is a couple who owns this amazing gallery. Is not a traditional gallery or conventional gallery we are used to. This is more like a place of art, of music, of completely um, very mysterious place. It's a private place for private parties, and it's covered full of basically paintings from the owner and his brother. They are artists, and the lighting in the place is really fascinating because while you are there an evening enjoying a party or whatever, socializing with the people there, the
Mm,
lights which oscillate and focusing into the artworks pretty much make the place feel alive. And I was invited by the owner to do a photo shoot there while I was staying there a few years ago, actually before the pandemic. So I had pretty much the entire gallery, which is pretty much a huge house, different rooms, and I had the fortune to be given this gallery to do my self portraits there.
yeah,
And what I love about this is like the artworks. I'm really sorry because there's a bit of noise on the background. Not sure
yeah. I
if you
can
can
hear
see.
it. I can. Don't worry, I can hear
I'm
it.
in a town in Peru, as you can see, and there's
Yeah,
people selling, on the streets and stuff. So I apologize about that if it's
that's okay.
interrupting. But yeah, like I said, this place is a magnificent place for not only photo shoots, but when I was there, hosted by the owners, I felt pretty much free. And obviously, um, dealing with artists is completely different world, and they were
Mm,
quite hospitable. And I felt, like I said, free to just be myself and do the type of artworks that I do because there's no judgment there, and there is a lot of inspiration already on the walls by the artworks of all these artists, and especially the one on the right in the bath. I love the painting at the back, which is
yeah,
a woman also, and that was the bathroom of the room I was staying at, and I again I was playing with the light. Again, I'm not using any lights there other than the one coming, I think, from the window, and same on the other one on the left. I'm just in the one of the rooms downstairs where they do parties, and I pretty much didn't use any light and the ones they had from the lights on top of the artworks. And I love the colors basically, which were pretty much quite well with the type of portraits that I do.
yeah.
And again, the nudity for me it felt quite easy and quite relaxed to do what I do there. Yeah.
So I'm interested because does that make you feel empowered?
Of course, yeah, of course it
Mm,
does. Yeah.
yeah.
Initially, at the many years ago, when they were criticized, obviously like anybody else, about my artworks, but I didn't really pay much attention to the critics. I just
Mm,
expressed, but like you said, I have felt grateful and in a way, yes, very empowered to be able to create a reaction without even planning it. Because I am aware many artists would love to have that, to be able to create a reaction. And it's not something gained easily, but for me, it came naturally. And I suppose I feel quite special or quite blessed, I suppose.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
just just doing what I do is is something that was inside me all along. Like when I
So
was in the casinos teasing people, it was natural, and it may sound a bit wrong, but I even enjoy teasing the players.
yeah, well, no,
Obviously,
yeah,
teasing
yeah.
them with
Well,
with the cards, and obviously, yeah, it did make me feel powerful at the time as well, being the croupier. Obviously, I didn't intend to leave players or gamblers broke or anything, but sometimes the cards do what they do. But the fact that you are on the other side of the table and you are the one holding the cards, and I suppose it makes you feel empowered. And I suppose with the camera it's similar. When I have the camera, I feel empowered. I'll do what it pleases me, and that empowers me without expecting anything from the audience, really. Yeah.
So again, this is one of those things where I'm getting the idea that really you experiment with the light to give you the final image that you're after, and the color of that light is quite important. So where in both these really, but on the one in particular on the right with the bath, is you're using natural light to create that, because that's the light from the window, but you've still got, you know, very everything is perfectly in focus where it should be with this type of shot. So you must spend quite a bit of time setting the camera up, knowing exactly how you want that to look. Surely you're not just one that presses the button and hopes.
No, I have played, like I said, a lot with the camera on my own, and those I suppose skills that I obtained throughout the years, just apply them when I shoot. Now in less time I would just do only a few shots and I say, okay, that's the one. Knowing, preparing the light before and just playing around with postures. Posture is very important as well.
Yeah.
And the way you stand is to create obviously the expression of the body in the way you want to express. Yeah.
Now it's very interesting this, because we've spoken about the one on the left. I posted that on Instagram to advertise this talk, and within seconds, Instagram told me to remove it and said, nope, if you want your post to go out to lots of people, then we suggest you remove that now. Now, I'm not being funny, but there are an awful lot of bottoms on Instagram, and it's far worse, in fact, on Instagram. And for them to turn around and say, no, you can't do that. And I know we've talked about this. You've had a similar experience with things that they just say no to. I find it very, very. I think you said the other day, Instagram's clearly run by men or something along those lines.
Or by unhappy women.
Or jealous women even.
No, I don't know. I think there's a lot of false regulations there, but because, like you said, certain things are allowed and others are not.
Yeah.
And it is a pity, because it's not just me, but a lot of artists have these obstacles when sharing art. And that's why, for me, it's important to participate in exhibitions and art fairs where you can just reach your true followers organically rather than through Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, but, and I think, and that you're absolutely right, and this is why the Flux exhibition exists, to allow people really to show their work without anybody saying, no, I'm sorry, you can take that down. And I find that particular instance quite remarkable. And the one, in some respects, the picture on the right hand side, that's more provocative, because I like the way you're using the guitar as the female form.
Yeah, I call that a Spanish guitar. Yeah,
that's right. The Spanish guitar, you're using that as the female form, and I think that's really even more provocative potentially than the one on the left. And I just think it's interesting how you basically interesting how you come up with the ideas for your pictures, but also the reaction that you get, which then leads me on to the question is, I know you come from a very traditional Peruvian family, so how do they feel about this?
I don't really ask.
Okay.
I don't know, but I have family members that they show their support and they respect. But no, I don't ask. I don't think, as an artist, I don't think an artist should ask people, even my own family. if I don't ask my family for support and approval, why would I care or ask any stranger?
Well, that's very true. That's a fair comment. To
Yeah,
be
and it's
fair.
not disrespect. Simply, I am who I am. I left home very young, and I traveled the world, and I lived experiences and adventures.
Mm,
And at the end of the day, I'm just expressing, I mean, the human body, the female, the my woman. I'm pretty much womanhood, and I didn't create this. It's actually a divine creation, which I'm just sharing it with the world. Like obviously, other artists in the past, amazing artists like Da Vinci and many others. Did amazing paintings of the women themselves. So
mm,
I'm doing it in the obviously with my camera, but I think beauty and art has been happening for centuries. Eroticism and stuff that I do is not new. It's something from many years ago.
yeah,
But
yeah.
unfortunately, there's been restrictions and religion and cultures, and basically control is just the human control trying to make things look dirty when they are not. It's just
No,
natural.
no.
What I do and express is something natural, and but others title it in the wrong way, to make
Mm.
it look bad or perverse.
Well, yeah, of course, and that's there's always been a fine line between art and what is acceptable and what's not. But I also think you need to be provocative with art. You need to be, because then that makes people talk about it. And that's my view. You've got to you need to provoke a comment rather than people just shutting themselves down and not making any comment, or not even looking in some instance, which I've had that a few times in the past, where people just walk past and don't even glance at your work, and you want to chase after them and say, come back, what's the matter, why did you not even look? But of course it's difficult to do that. With so we've got one more set of slides, and in this particular instance, what I'd like to ask, because both of these are coloured. I love the purple one, but then that's because I've got a real affinity with purple. So what makes you decide on what colour your final shot is going to be? Or is it more that you experiment with different colours until you find one and you go, yes, I like that?
It's a bit of both, actually. I play with the colors, and in that case, the purple felt that that violet, that purple is sign also of peace and harmony and feeling good. So I chose that for that reason. And on the right one, yeah, that's pretty much the purple. I love the tones work the best. Yeah, it's quite peaceful to me, and yeah, harmonious color, the purple. And on the right one, red was quite provocative, I suppose. Again, with the clothing I am wearing, I thought red would complement or enhance the, I suppose, the eroticism and the, yeah, and the cheekiness, I suppose. Yeah.
Very, it is, and it's also the striking thing for me, because with my work, it's the lighting that is the key for me. It's
Yeah.
my thing. Lighting is my thing. The lighting that you get with your shots is excellent, and I can
Thank
see
you.
that it's not just there's no luck. This is something that you've actually set up properly and looked at what you're trying to achieve, which I think is the sign of a true artist. Whether you think you're an artist or not is immaterial. It is the sign of a true artist that you go into the depths that you want to achieve the end result. And I think that's true of all of us, to be honest. It's interesting for me that so next question I've got, really. So take the picture on the right hand side. Do you, when you're deciding upon which costume you're going to wear, does the idea of the picture come to you as you're choosing the costume or putting the costume on? Does it come to you that way, or do you think, no, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I need to find to wear to do it?
Well, I picked different outfits that I have, obviously, from my lingerie and stockings. And as you can see, I love these ones because they have the leopard thingy. Half of the stocking it has that print, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm quite a lover of felines because of the lifestyles they have, the freedom, the playfulness, the independence. And I chose that stockings for that. The red, obviously, is one of my favorite colors. And again, the laces hanging from. I'm wearing gloves, see-through gloves, which I
Okay.
love. I love those because again they are quite sensual and at the same time quite elegant in my opinion. And but yeah, I combine bits and bobs from what I have, and to compose basically something which is going to come across both feminine but also in a way wild and also sensual, erotic. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm right. Am I right in saying that you do actually have a book of your work as well?
Actually, I have like three now at the moment.
Great. So
Yeah, yeah.
and are you going to be? I'm going to swap you around. Are you going to be bringing any of those to Flux for people to buy, or
Only on the
no?
VIP event.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's good because this is what that's about too. Is that people can buy not just your work, but also if you've got books out for people to buy, that's a cracking thing to have. I find that often, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I have a book, and it's people buy that because they can't afford to buy a print. But there you are, you've got it in the book, and also the more people that see that book, the more people know who you are. So it's a win-win really all around.
Yeah.
Quite cool. So I'm just going to share your website with people as well, because I've got that up on the other screen. So let me just maximize that. So you can see on your website so it's Maria Vasquez, Maria Isabel Vasquez
Yeah.
.com. So you've got them in black and white. You've also got a whole big color section, and people can click on the image and see a full size image of the work, which as you can see comes up. And there's also a good bit about you here, which sums up everything actually. And that, what a great picture that is actually in the middle there with your work on the wall. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I would suggest that people jump over onto your website, which is always a good place to start. So
Thank you. And you can send it also to my Instagram, Gary, because you will
yeah.
see perhaps a bit more.
So yeah, I'll put that. So what I'll do when we've finished, in the links actually on the YouTube, I will put the links to your Instagram and all of that in there as well, which I have to do for everybody that comes on. The trouble is when I'm doing this kind of show, it's it's quite a lot of work because I have to put the video together, the slideshow together, organize everybody, and then think about who's coming on next week because I've got to obviously advertise them this week. So it's it's quite an interesting thing. So
Thank you.
let's talk about Flux for a minute, because you've not done the exhibition before, I don't think, have you?
No.
So this is the first time. And it's interesting, apart from a couple of people right at the start of this whole series of interviews, everybody is a newbie. So let me give you an insight into what you'll let yourselves in for. The private view night will be busy. Drink plenty of water, not that Peruvian alcoholic drink that you're just drinking there. Let's not.
Only for you. Only.
Please don't. Yeah. If you're going to bring some of that, make sure you keep it hidden, because we'll all be legless. But it's it's fantastic. Be prepared to talk about your work, because that's the most important thing of all. And probably even more important is enjoy yourself, which you really will.
Oh, I am looking forward to it.
All the people that all the artists that are there are fantastic. I've made an awful lot of friends over the last 4 or 5 exhibitions that I've done with Flux. And I also, obviously, as you can tell, because I do this, I also help out. But Lisa, who has created Flux in the first place, not only does she do the magazine, so I'm not sure if you've actually seen a copy of the magazine, but Lisa does all of that on her own. She puts the whole thing together on her own and gets it printed and sent out. It's a huge thing to actually.
Yeah, please, guys, save a copy for me, because I'm in Peru. I mean, I think I was here when it got issued, so I hope to.
Well, I think you'll get a copy for sure. But I think it's more that the exhibition sort of came off the back of all of that as well, and it's really Lisa calls this everybody her Flux family, and it is true, because everybody is really nice. Everybody's very helpful. If you're desperate for not a drink of that Peruvian moonshine that you've got there, but someone will go and get you a bottle of water or beer or something, because simply because you just get swept away with the amount of people that come and the people that want to see and buy your work. So it's fantastic. It's in a great venue. And it's only a 2-minute walk from Marylebone station, so it's not difficult to get to at all. My very first exhibition in London was actually in Bermondsey, which was very difficult to get to. So this one's easy, and we're looking forward to getting a lot of people coming. And how many pieces will you have on display?
This time only 2, but they are big pieces.
Okay. So I was going to ask that. So what sort of size? I mean, I'm looking at the picture that's on your website, or that picture that's on the wall. That's a big print. So
I can't tell you exactly the size, because I can't remember, to be honest, and I've been too busy here on holidays.
Yeah.
But it's around 40 by 60 inches. They're quite big.
40 by 60 inches.
Around that size, yeah.
Wow.
Am I talking right? Because something like that.
So so obviously that's large format printing. So are they how do you print them? Are they giclées? Are they printed on with acrylic backing, or how do you actually print them?
No, I have they are giclée artworks. Yeah, they're really fine artwork.
Yeah.
Fine art paper. Sorry again. There's.
I know. I can hear that. Well, I don't know what they're selling, but whatever it is, they need to hurry up.
This is part of the culture here. You got people selling all day in the little, I suppose, little trolleys stuff. So you don't go to supermarkets; they come to you. If you don't want to go to the supermarket, but it's going now. And but like I said, and I have local printers and framers in Wales, and they work with the finest artists, and I'm quite glad I found them after working with so many companies, and this time I'm quite happy with this one. So I won't be giving details yet of who they are, but yes.
But I think what's interesting. So do you do a limited edition run, or do you just do one?
Not for these pieces. These pieces are only one-off.
One-off. Okay.
But I do have limited editions of other artworks. And I have a gallery in Wales that represents me, Blackwater Gallery. You can see a lot of my work there also, and they do sell limited edition prints on my behalf. So they're really lovely people, the gallery as well there. But I'm very excited about Flux, because I look forward to. I haven't been in London for so many years. The very first time I exhibited there was at an art fair for Parallax. That was
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the first exhibition I did 2013, sorry, 14. And that's when I realized, wow, because once I saw the reaction of people, I was in shock myself of seeing the reaction. So I realized, well, I should do this more.
Yeah, and I think what you will find, particularly Flux compared to other exhibitions. So Lisa curates it. Lisa curates it very, very well. There's not any competition in the same respect that you think. I mean, I was part of an exhibition a few years ago where one room, and it was a big room that you walked in and out all the way around, but pretty much every picture on the wall was seascapes. And you think, okay, so once you've seen one, you've seen another and another, and all those artists are all in competition trying to sell you pretty much a similar sort of picture, which doesn't work. You don't get that at all with Flux. The whole exhibition flows. So, people can spend time talking to you, and they will. But it's also up to you to introduce yourself and speak to people, because that's a real big, important part. I said this to Paolo last week, that one of the big things is people don't just buy your work. They want to know about you, the artist.
Yeah.
And so therefore talking to them and explaining what you do, and really not necessarily doing the big sales pitch, because you don't have to do that. You just have to explain to people who you are and what you do, and they get drawn in. And they certainly will. If you've got a couple of big pieces on the wall, it sounds like you are, then you've got that wow factor straight away, which is going to stop people and have them talking to you, which is exactly what you want. It's just absolutely excellent. It's quite an intense week of setting things up. I'll be there all week helping as well, but it's quite an intense week setting things up, because obviously we've only got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday morning really to get everything ready, and then before you know it, the PV started, and then from then until Sunday night, it's just people coming in to see the work, and especially this time of year with a lot of tourists in London. So that'll be another big bonus.
Yeah, looking forward, like I was saying, because I haven't exhibited in London since 2014, so pretty much 10 years. So I'm excited to go back, especially after years of having evolved and grown myself. I mean, just on my own, practically organically with my social media. So I'm really excited to meet Lisa and all her crew, and to be around London to sharing what I'm bringing.
And how are you? Here we go. So Lisa's actually put on here, look, that your statement works are fabulous. So
thank you, Lisa.
So yeah, it's very good that she's very supportive, Lisa, for sure. In all ways, actually, she's very supportive. And I think you'll find that statement pieces do stop people without question. It's one of those things, and obviously the issue that's always been, actually, up until probably maybe the last, 10 years, that photography's never been regarded as being art. It's always been, oh well, that's photography. I've put work in for exhibitions and had it refused because they said it's not art. So it is difficult to get that pushed down. But here we go. This is Paolo, who was on last week. Fantastic works. Very much looking forward to seeing it.
I'm terrible at replying. Could you reply for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can tell he's watching.
Paolo,
So,
Paolo,
yes,
thank you very much. And Lisa.
Yeah, he's
thank you. Looking forward to meeting you all.
So Paolo's interview last week went really well. Been an awful lot of comments underneath on actually online on the video, and that's where, you know, those not many people at this time of night often are watching, but they certainly are once it's done and finished and watched. And Paolo's had a lot of people watching. There's a lot of, but Paolo has a lot of love for him, so he's definitely had quite a few people coming on there expressing their love for him. So I'm looking forward to meeting him, as I am all the people that I've interviewed so far, and that'll be good. So the other thing to sort of mention is the other thing to mention is that if you can be there for more than just a private view night, it's beneficial, because
I'm planning to perhaps stay a couple of nights or 3 nights.
It's very beneficial, because obviously you get a chance to catch people that are coming there that can't come to the PV, that are coming over the course of the exhibition, and you know, that's your taxi just turned up by the sound of it.
Actually, I gotta go soon. My niece is coming. One of my nieces who I haven't seen.
So we are pretty much we're pretty much done. Our time's almost up anyway. But I'm really looking forward to seeing your work. Really looking forward to seeing the reaction that you get from people. I will be doing my best to do a bit of a live broadcast from Flux on the PV. That's if I manage to stop talking for long enough. But I should do a little bit of a forecast, but also take some video to put into my next talk. And these talks are, well, at the moment going on way past October, so I've got an awful lot of people lined up to come on, and it's next week. It is another photographer, which I'll mention in a bit. So unless you've got anything you want to ask me, I will let you enjoy the rest of your day in Peru and the rest of your holiday, and look forward to seeing you when you come back. And thank you, Denise, for setting everything up, because clearly your internet connection is definitely better than it was the other night, so it's all worked perfectly. Thanks very much.
I apologize for all the interruptions. My brother's dog is getting hidden and now he's out. He's gonna be barking very soon.
Well, I had one.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for all the support from Flux already.
Absolute pleasure.
And I look forward to London in the 25th to the 28th of July.
Yeah. Okay. So, excellent. All right. We'll catch you soon. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Gary. Adios.
Well, I told you that it would be very interesting, and it was. And as you can see, there are people already looking and commenting, so that's always good. And you can see Maria and her work at Flux on the 25th of July. I think it's quite important for us to all support all artists. And all right, I know I'm an artist and I'm just saying that, but it's true. You need to support artists for sure, and that is what Flux is all about, and that's what this is all about as well. So this is about actually saying, you know what, come on, let's promote you, let's show people what you can do, and then people can come along to Flux and see it. So as I said, next week, Maria Mora, she photographs tulips, and that is a really interesting, unusual thing, that what she does with the tulips. So you'll be able to see that regular time of Thursday next week. And if you're wondering why I can't do this tomorrow, there's two reasons. Tomorrow, obviously, is an election going on. So there's all sorts happening tomorrow night, but I'm going to Silverstone to watch the Grand Prix. So I'm not around for the weekend, and I wanted to get this done beforehand, because I don't like to miss one, and I don't like to let people down who are here to be interviewed. So I will see you next week with Maria Mora, and then we've got another couple until Flux, And as I said, I will be doing something from Flux as well, assuming I can find a few minutes to do that. Thanks for the guys that have been on there watching, and I will see you next week. Thanks very much.